Can you say hard hats, folks? Hard hats, lunch pail, steel toe boots.
Anything short of a championship this year is a failure.
Look at this boomer right here.
You've just got so much talent here.
Somebody said we need to apologize for Jaylen.
Can I pull the John? What are we apologizing for? What did we say? What did we do?
Yeah.
We start everything with a little music, Jimmy.
We got an intro.
Ba-now, ba-now, ba-now.
Oh, that's when you know. Now everyone's going to know. Like, they're going to be in the kitchen. They're going to hear the intro. They're going to come running into the living room or to their bedroom, wherever they watch it. They're going to hear that song. Love that. They're going to hear, they're going to hear hard hats, steel toe boots. And like, oh, God.
Oh, my God. I got to go.
Get your hard hats.
Yeah.
That was sweet. That was sweet. Hey, every great show has one of those memorable, intros, right?
I thought our fans were kind of no frills, so we never bothered spicing it up with a sexy little intro. But
it's not too much. It's not too crazy, but
we've got the skills. Also, because of the timing, people have we cannot control when you guys pick it up. Meaning, like, it could be 3 seconds, it could be 12 seconds.
Right.
It's impossible to know.
Every time I watch the show back, it's like halfway through like our introduction sometimes. So it's like
that open was paid for by super chats.
Love. Oh, what? Those are supposed to be going to me.
I know, and Blorp likes all the frills.
Blorp likes all the frills. Just make sure, John, you don't start that intro too soon because you'll cut me off if you do. I'm going to watch this back after, and if I get cut off, I'm not going to be happy about it.
Yeah. So a lot of takeaways tonight.
A lot of takeaways. This was a fun one. This is a fun night to be at the Garden, I bet. I'm not there, clearly, but I bet you if you are there, you had a fun time.
So I'll ask you this because it's like everybody watching tonight is like, oh, my God. Like, play like this all the time. Like, right? Like, everything is great. Ball is moving. Yeah, exactly. Bring them in.
These are coming in.
Ball didn't stick at any point. Everybody making the extra pass, moving it, multiple pass possessions. That's what was great, too. It wasn't just one or two or run one action, get it to a guy, high pick and roll. He moves, maybe gets it, gets one pass and a kick out, and that's that. It was just fire moving the ball around all night long. I think
is that Missoula ball, John?
I don't even know what Missoula ball anymore is, but 31 assists is nothing to sneeze at. And the 30th came on that savage ATO that Joe called when he emptied the bench and then runs that friggin' lob to Keita, which was great. But all night long, every single person, like Brown played another near perfect game tonight. And again, a classic give the game what it needs. He had 3 savage dunks.
Oh my God. How is this guy questionable?
I know.
How is he? He didn't look questionable to me.
He wanted us to sweat it out a little bit. I
think he was
multiple,
he
was moving great. Savage dunks. One of them I liked after one dunk, he actually returned. It won't go in like the box score because it wasn't necessarily his, but it's just part of that dominant. No, just part of that dominant first half that he had. I forget who he was guarding, but he really sealed him off baseline, trapped him, gave him nowhere to go, and they had to wing a pass to the corner. It went out of bounds and resulted in another turnover. So he caused a turnover right away, moving his feet great on defense all night. I know they talked about last game, like, I need my charger. They talked last game, Jimmy, about like
how many times
do less to achieve more.
Tatum said that after the game. Yeah.
Tatum said that this is one of those where they did it. I mean, you want to quibble a little bit. Tatum's still the only person out there tonight playing a little bit of iso ball at times, but I also think like he got pinned in some. It was Tatum and 4 subs for a period of time in the first half. And I think the idea behind those rotations is, hey, so this is where you get to just kind of Tatum, I know he did it with some starters on the floor as well, but I mean, he was ridiculous going to the basket as well. If not for the poor shooting threes for both him and Brown tonight, neither one was really knocking him down. I mean, they were getting whatever the hell they wanted all night long. It was unbelievable.
I'm never going to say.
You're going full screen while I grab my charger, okay?
Okay.
I'm still here.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just waiting to go full screen. So don't twist my words around when I say I'm like, how do I say this? So yes, they missed their threes, but I'm glad to see that they were successful and they were like able to contribute to the game by scoring otherwise and by being aggressive. We talk about Jaylen Brown all the time. When he gets going, when he gets in motion, he's impossible to stop. And we saw that a couple times tonight. I mean, Orlando scored at the rim, and Jaylen Brown was still able to get the ball, dribble down like halfway down the court, and just throw down that thunderous dunk. So when the threes aren't falling, I feel like in previous years, they would still force them, and they would just be one of those awful shooting nights, and the Celtics would lose. Tonight, they're able to overcome bad shooting and score in a multitude of different ways, whether it's getting to the line, whether it's being aggressive and driving to the hoop. So that was what I loved about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's game tonight. It's not that I love to see them miss threes, but I love to see them figure out other ways to be effective. And that was definitely one way. And I was wondering, because Celtics were going to be small tonight, no Horford, no Porzingis, no Cornette. If they were going to rely a little too much on the 3-pointer and just live and die by it tonight, but they were still effective down low. And the Magic aren't, there's no Embiid, there's no, Lopez on the Magic that's going to get in your way down there. But they were able to still play aggressive, move the ball around, and not just force shots up. So I really thought that was a good thing about this game. And John, I think you're still there somewhere. I can hear you.
I'm kind of here.
Did you hear what I said? Or do you want to repeat myself?
No, I'm struggling. I just can't find the cord. No, I heard the whole thing.
You can't find the cord.
No, hey, that's me. No, the best, and it's not just those guys. One of the cool things was, they didn't hit threes early. And in fact, they didn't even get that many 3-point attempts relative to what they liked.
That was my concern, though. I said it earlier.
But what was good about it was, I totally agree with what you said. No, I totally agree with what you said, that they normally just keep chucking, and waiting for it to go in. But instead, they kept moving the ball, creating really good looks, and then eventually they started going down. And that's kind of like plays into that whole, I know, the obsession over too many threes versus not enough threes, and like Gary versus Joe and all of that stuff, blah, blah, blah. And it really isn't the case. It's just how you go about acquiring them. Are you settling for them, or are you working for them? And tonight was one of those working for it sort of threes scenarios.
I mean, it was great that the bench.
So they kept doing it, and all of a sudden, like, their percentage went from then they were all of a sudden they're shooting 45 from, they were red hot, but they were doing the same thing and working for good shots. They just didn't fall in the first half, and they kept working it, and then they got them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. So
yeah,
and then you had Pritchard and Hauser were still doing their thing off the bench, hitting their threes, which is, Hauser's been doing it all year. Pritchard needed a good night and got one. He was hot, and again, some of those were with the game out of reach, but not all of them. And so it was good that other guys were able to sort of. You don't want to become too one-dimensional, right? So the fact that if they're not hitting threes, they're focusing on scoring down low or being aggressive to the rim, but you still have other guys like Hauser, like Pritchard, who keep the defenders honest. So you can't cheat on anybody with the Celtics roster out there, because they can score. So many different guys can score in so many different ways. So that was a good thing about that one tonight.
It was a good thing about a lot of things tonight. So
what'd you think of Stevens in the starting lineup?
So how many guys in history have started and also been on the floor for Geno time, garbage minutes? Because that was Stevens tonight.
But you know what? I'm sure he's fine with that. I'm sure he just wants to play, right? So the fact he went from a DNP-CD all year to starting, and a lot had to happen for it to occur. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm in his position, I'll play with a 30-point lead. Hell yeah, I'll play with 30. I'll play losing by 30 in that case.
Right. I mean, here's the thing with him.
He looks like a guy that hasn't played much.
But they all look like guys who haven't played much until, you kind of get what you got out of Brissett
tonight, and you're like, oh, look at that. And you got some
freaking
good
out right
stuff
now
out of
because you're not going to
Stevens.
charge her.
And I don't understand where it is.
Why wouldn't it just be with your computer? Like,
It
what
should
else could
normally
you
be there.
possibly need it for?
Well, because sometimes I use the brick for other things, and it's just the cord is missing, and that's that.
Yeah.
What did Tatum call him again?
Call who? Stevens?
No, the crew, like the get
stay
ready,
ready, stay ready crew.
Stay ready crew.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of disparaging.
I mean, what do you want?
Nickname.
It's just a different name for a bench.
But it's true though. I mean, Joe kind of declared it last game.
He did
when he planted his flag and he's
crowned.
like, yeah,
he crowned Cornette part of the rotation, king of the rotation.
Cornette coronation.
There you go.
From Joe. Yeah, I used to work at Channel 7. It's we think in alliteration.
Yeah.
Cornette coronation. But that was it. He's like, these are my 9, so everyone else is like gonna get in when they get in.
You think a couple of those guys heard him say it, like, damn, they really gave it a Cornette.
Shit.
He really said it.
And
Damn.
I
On the
know
phone, my
I know
agent
we can,
immediately get me out of here.
I know we can sit and quibble over like, Luke, really? But like the reality is, these minutes are going to come when guys are on load management, when guys get hurt. I don't love the Porzingis re-aggravating a calf. That's not awesome.
Here we go.
But again, you'd rather it happen now than later. But the fear is exactly that, Jimmy, that they're so rusty that when they go out there, they can't make any contributions. Stevens knocked down a 3 tonight. So, like, even 2 games in, a little bit better. Like, they're still goofy. Sometimes they're having trouble catching passes in traffic, and the speed of the game's a little bit much. And those poor guys get whistled for every time someone misses a shot on the other end. They get whistled for a foul.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the Stevens minutes were fine. I mean, granted, he was the only quote unquote starter not in the plus side tonight.
Yeah,
and,
but he's because he was in the garbage time though.
He started and he played 14 minutes. He played 5 or so minutes to start. 5 or 6 minutes to start, 5 or 6 minutes to start the second half, and that was it. I mean, at the end of the day, though, I mean, he played less than Brissett, Cada, Pritchard, and Hauser, all whom came off the bench. So, he put him in there. Joe put him in there for rotations. He's 6'7" and he's big. They were going to be small, so they played small. And I don't mind it. I understand why he did it. He's the only guy with a little bit of beef and athleticism in there. It makes them 1,000% switchable there. Tatum ended up playing some small ball center.
It makes him switchable, and you can kind of cover him up a bit. You can kind of hide him a bit too in a lineup like that. You'd have been really, really, really thin on the bench if you just had put Hauser. If you just went even smaller and put Hauser in there or something. Anyway, I don't even know how you do it. They would have been super, super small. So it makes sense. But and then you had Cada give you some good minutes too. A guy that was DNP last night. So this is the stay ready. This is the definition of stay ready with these guys. It's kind of a hodgepodge of bigs here, but they're contributing. And this is a good win because I thought this was going to, when I saw the injury report earlier today with, questionable and out, I was like, this
didn't look promising.
Trending like an L to me. I thought Brown might not even play. So that would have been a big difference, obviously, if he didn't play because he was pretty huge in this one. But it's a good win against a team that's playing well this year. They're a hot upstart young team. They've had a lot of success against you recently. And this is a good win to sort of get that monkey off your back a little bit against this Magic team. And down guys.
You think they were getting a little, I don't know whether there was chirping from Orlando or not, but you think that that was a little extra fuel? At some point we got to
these guys up a little bit.
Yeah, we got to let these guys know who we are a little bit.
Yeah, we got to stand up for our guy Eddie House here. Poor Eddie House is slinking down his chair every time the Magic beat the Celtics, thinking that he's the reason. But it's really not. That's kind of a wild. That's one of the wildest things wild things I've heard about the Celtics and the Magic is that they're fueled by something that Eddie House said on a basketball analyst said about them on TV. I mean, give me a break. So it was good the Celtics shut them up tonight, and we'll see what happens Sunday. But they'll have Horford back, and we'll see about Porzingis too. I don't know how serious that is. Again, they're not going to rush him back, but you hate to see, play 2, sit 3, play 1, sit 1. You know what I mean? You want to get the consistency in there. He doesn't have to play 75 games, but you want them to all get on the same page so that when they are healthy, knock on wood, in the playoffs, they know how to play with each other. And
so
that's
they do. No, you do. Yeah. I mean, but the reality is, if you're healthy, they're not playing. So it really is. This is really all you can hope for here. What you were hoping for was one of these guys might just prove themselves and crack their rotation here. But ultimately, it's just play the guys you need when you need them, sort of games. But it's nice to know, I always thought the bench wasn't as, I actually thought the deep bench this year wasn't as bad as it's been in other years because these guys are professional basketball players on it. This isn't a G League shuttle. I just don't know that they're good enough to be rotation players on a championship caliber team. That's not a fault, but I think your Brissett's,
the starters are good enough. That's the difference.
Your Brissett's, Bantons, and Stevenses are probably getting 15, 18, 20 minutes on 50% of NBA rosters right now, or at least they were last year. I mean, they were. It's just provable. I mean, Stevens started 50 games. It's not ridiculous to think that. It's just this team is so
they're NBA caliber guys, definitely.
They're actual NBA caliber players. You're not putting in JD Davison, in there, right, who's clearly a 4A sort of guy and hasn't quite figured out how to do it. A lot of people on Twitter and in the chat talking about Celtics finally playing Missoula ball. I'm not sure what Missoula ball is, but I guess
I'm
it's
not
kind
either.
of this, right? I guess the principle behind it is move the ball, get a lot of, take a bunch of threes. But it kind of sort of resembles that hot offensive start from last year. Tonight did, right?
It does, yeah. I think so. I mean, Jaylen Brown, I'll just go back to Jaylen for a second. He's just got something about the way he starts these games, and he just puts him in motion, gets him going. So when you say start, that's just the first thing that comes to mind. Now, I do still question the bench a little bit, John. I mean, and again, they're getting it done because I'm not going to say the starting lineup is just that good, but it kind of is the case. But tonight, you didn't have Horford, you didn't have Porzingis. The stars had to play a little bit more. You got to hope and assume that you won't be that thin when the playoffs come. So that allows you to have a bench that's not, you don't need, you're way more top heavy, obviously, on the Celtics team than other teams are. And other teams might be quote unquote deeper. But if the Celtics have 6 guys that can, on any given night, or at least 5 guys on any given night that can just take over a game in some capacity or in the way that they do, you can get away with having a bench that's maybe after 8, it gets to be because theoretically they're not going to be playing a whole lot. So I don't worry too much about that. But because at the end of the day, if you're not healthy, and that goes for pretty much any team, if you're not healthy, you're not going to be good enough to win the championship. So if this team's healthy, I'll put them up against anybody 1 through 9, let's call it, right? And then that 9th guy, like you said on last show, it's kind of like an up for grabs one. Right now it's Cornette, but that could change. I mean, if Stevens gets some opportunity here over the next week or so to show that he can, slide into that role in some capacity, then he might chip into those minutes. Same with Keita. I mean, I thought he played well in the minutes he got tonight too. Some of it was garbage time, but regardless, they're showing that they're able to contribute when put in the position to. So I'm good with that.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's, it's so funny. One of the more polarizing guys on the bench, one of the more polarizing guys on the team right now is Pritchard. Because tonight's Peyton Pritchard is oh my God, if he plays like this, they win a championship. But other versions of Pritchard is this guy sucks and he's the reason we're not going to win because we have no bench. Dude, he had 0. He had 0 last game in 14 minutes. His last 4 games before tonight, 0, 6, 5, 0. and it's like 0 for 5 from 3 and blah, blah, blah. And when he has those nights where he's a 0, meaning like his contribution is to come in there and like score,
You're right.
Provide some second unit offense. And there's just games where he just does none of it. I mean, and granted, in some, it's in limited minutes because he's just, when you have the 6 starters, sometimes he's just going to play those 12, 13, 14 minutes. And that's what he's gotten. That's what he got in the 2 games against Cleveland. But 0 points and 6 points. He only got 1 shot off last night, and scored 6 points, making 2 threes in 12 minutes the night before. Had in the tournament loss to Indiana, he was a 0 again, 0 for 5 from 3, and that guy drives people crazy. I can't tell if he's which guy he is, and like. You get this version of him, obviously, but you're just not. You're not going to get a guy who comes out and knocks 6 out of 7 3-pointers down every game. But when you do, it's ridiculous.
Well, I think I guess that you could say that the knock on him. How reliable can you say he is right now? He's not, right? And what he's capable of. That's why he's polarizing, because everybody has seen these games and say, "Oh, Pritcoin, yeah." Everybody has seen these games. They didn't Drake call him a crypto dealer or something like that?
Yeah. He looks like a crypto bro.
Yeah. Everyone knows what he's capable of. It's just, can you be consistent in that production? And right now, he hasn't been. But a night like tonight gives you a reminder that this is why he's on the team. This is why they signed with that extension. And crypto scammer. That's what it was. Thank you, Manny, for Maine. Crypto scammer. But yeah, it's hard to make heads or tails out of Pritchard. I think when he's out there with Hauser, they do allow you to obviously spread the court. We know Pritchard's, he's fast PP out there. He's P party. He's quick. And Hauser is just hitting shots left and right. So when those 2 guys come in, it's not like, oh God, here we go. And Pritchard hasn't maybe been as aggressive shooting it, and maybe tonight's good for his confidence, where he starts to see a few fall. Now he's kind of get that feeling back. Shooters need to have confidence in themselves, and I don't know where he's at with it. He seems like a confident guy. He always says the right stuff about confidence and going back to work and trusting himself, and it's gotten him this far in his career, which I'm sure he's been doubted for most of it. So I don't think he lacks confidence. I just think, for whatever reason, that shot hasn't been falling as consistently as it should be, and it did tonight. So
you'll take it. It's a quadruple P tonight. It's a Peyton Pritchard podium performance. Okay. Pritchard's going to the podium tonight. That's quadruple something you don't normally see. You don't normally see from Colin. Colin has a super chat we got to answer, and
Tatum
I missed
and
it.
Brown. We missed it. It's gone.
I know. I'll scroll back on it.
So yeah, that's Pritchard. I don't know.
Colin,
what else do you expect from him?
Concerned with Porzingis's. Yes, young cow. I get it.
We just touched upon it, but I don't think. I mean,
I am concerned, but
yeah.
But if
where's the panic meter on it?
I mean, if you're expecting him to miss 20 games, this is part of those. And I'd much rather them be in December than, April or, heading into the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think. I'm concerned. It's kind of like slightly expected. I think I'm more like my antennas are up a tiny bit, but I'm not concerned. I'm not at the level of I'm worried about it. I'm not concerned or worried. I mean, this isn't the type of it's a little bit of a nagging injury. It's not a knee, it's not a shoulder. It's not like he fell on his hand or something. So these types of things, they just need time to heal, basically, and it's just rest, I guess. I think if it was the playoffs, I shouldn't say this because I have no idea, but I'm wondering if it was the playoffs, if he would sort of fight through it. If it's pain tolerance to an extent, stretch it out, get some heat on it, get in the trainer's room tomorrow and work it out. I'm not concerned about it yet. I think we all expected these these games to happen.
I'll say this. It didn't matter. Horford should have been in uniform tonight. If Porzingis is doubtful and Cornette's out and I
can't figure that out either.
Just get in there for 12. I mean, is he going to break if he plays one back-to-back? It didn't matter. It didn't. Yeah. It didn't matter. They survived. And I honestly, I'm a pro load management guy. I don't give a crap. Rest guys when if you think it's going to save you, that's fine. I'm surprised they didn't find a way to sneak him in there tonight, but it didn't matter. End of the day. But it's.
You'd think they could have at least started. I mean, Stevens played 14 minutes. You tell me Horford couldn't have played 14 minutes?
I just think you're hanging everyone else out to dry a little bit. That's all. And it's just making it harder. I know the young Bucks can handle it a little bit better, but all things being equal, I'd rather just see him kind of, gut out a few minutes here. We'll bring in our man, Josue Pavon, coming fresh off the podium. And see
it's good. It's good. Man, I don't got the same backdrop this time, which I found out, which I should have known last time. It was because it was a back-to-back. So, so it's gone, but I'm thinking Cleveland forgot about it. But that's why they had it in the background. I was hoping we had the same treatment, but I still loving these lights, so that's why I picked this spot.
You look good, man. You look great. The lighting is really working for you.
Anything out of the locker room worth talking about?
Nothing yet. Just Joe Missoula gushing over hustle plays, blocks, the third unit production, as he put it. Well, he didn't say it that way, but he calls these guys sort of that third unit where they have to be ready when the names are called. How many more shitty nicknames are they going to give these poor dudes? The Stay Ready Gang, the third unit. Oh my God, give them a good nickname. Yeah, is my mic too loud? What's going on? It always is. Oh, thanks for telling me, guys. This was all right. Damn, as if I don't have the deepest voice out of this whole show. All right, how's that? Better?
Whoa. Let her rip. It's about the same.
Is it really?
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
But no, I mean, pretty much what he was saying is that, and the way I saw this game was, it gave me that old way team vibes when it's like, okay, if Kevin or Paul's not playing or someone in the backcourt is out, you knew you're going to get a solid game out of Leon Poe. Has he played in a week or two? No, but he's ready because that's what this team's about. That's the culture. I saw a glimpse of that. Now I'm not going to go out and say like, oh, this team for sure championship team just because the way they took care of the Orlando Magic, but it's that type of mindset that championship caliber teams have, right? Where it doesn't matter. And Joe Missoula turning to his leaders, Drew, Derek, Tatum, and Brown. He's like, those are the guys that hold guys responsible, and make sure that when they're ready, when their name is called, that they're going to be ready and they're fitting a system as opposed to like, oh, they're shorthanded, so there's going to really, this is going to be a tough one for them. No, it was just all about the system, and it didn't matter who was coming, off the bench or who was getting the big minutes. I mean, you got someone scoring in double figures who barely plays, who some people were wondering if he was going to ever play, and that's Lamar Stevens. I mean, here it is, right? The double-digit production that some people think that this could be the norm if he gets more of an opportunity, but it didn't really matter because he was ready for that opportunity, and he stepped up. And look, you got the 20-point lead, you got a comfortable. That comfortable cushion throughout that second half. I mean, the Orlando Magic were arguing with each other. That's how you really know they're frustrated, right? It's like, no, I thought you had Tatum. No, I thought you had him. Like in the middle of a timeout, it was sloppy, guys. Like, it got to the point where you just knew there was no way these guys could muster up a comeback, and the Celtics never gave up, really.
Yep. I have a little bit of what's his name?
Get some sound.
I have a little bit of Joe, particularly gushing over third unit specialist O'Shea Brissett.
Third unit
had by far his most effective minutes of the season.
Bobby must be excited.
He hadn't played in 3 weeks, I think, before tonight. What kind of lift did he give you, and what can you kind of say about his professionalism?
O'Shea?
Yeah, O'Shea, to kind of stay ready.
I keep reminding him we signed him because he hit 6 threes against us in a game when we chose to put the 5 on him. And so he's been in this league. He's played on good teams. He's been coached. Like, he's just a professional. And so it goes back to just the work that he puts in every day, that I have no hesitation of going with any of those guys on any day because I see what they do daily. And so you almost want opportunities like this to affirm their work ethic and their professionalism. And O'Shea, we talk just about every day, and I just appreciate his maturity. And I thought he played great.
There you go.
Yeah, man, he was doing a lot of the dirty work, getting his hands dirty.
Did I put the thumb on there?
How did you do that? Whoa!
I didn't. It's magic.
Yo, who was it? It was actually, you know what? It was Stephen A. Smith. He did it during the Celtics Basketball podcast, and I was like, how do you do that? I'd never seen that before. Yeah.
I don't think I did it. There's no way that's happening by me putting my thumb in
yes,
the air.
You hit something.
Do it. Do it right now. Do it again.
No, it's not. Someone's messing with me. They're going to
and Ahmed's right, too. That was on Zoom, so I don't know how it happened.
No one's messing with you, bro. You did that.
Ahmed saw it, too.
That was
no one's
magic.
messing with you, bro. So let's run through it a little bit. Oh, it's a mystery. Okay, I thought someone was.
Do it again. No, don't be moving it. You got to keep it still. There you go.
Yeah, that's weird.
In the camera.
The first time it happened, it was on another platform. That was Zoom.
I don't get it at all.
That is really weird.
What's funny is like somebody
That's
in the chat
AI
clearly
shit.
knows what's going on, and they're like, "Dude, you idiots! It's this." But anyway, let's run through a couple things.
Somebody in the chat says I need a 10.
Let's run through a couple things. Yeah, you might need a 10, but first
Winter,
off,
bro.
No,
give
December.
you guys a little bit of a heads up.
Great.
Our sponsor, exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network, FanDuel.com. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston. Get $150 in bonus bets when you place a winning $5 moneyline bet. That's all you have to do. It is easy. It is fun. It is, football nitty-gritty time. Here we are, December, end of the season, fantasy playoffs. Jimmy, how's your fantasy team doing?
I'm playing you this week, tough guy. Eckler sucked last night. I'm screwed.
Eckler sucked. Anyway, download the app. Super easy to use. The best lines, player props, over-unders, whatever you have. FanDuel.com/Boston. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. And, of course, you can bet more than NFL. Get in on some NBA action tonight. If you hammered the Celtics, hammered the over, you did well for yourself. So that's great. So FanDuel.com/Boston. You know what? I was going to tell you Dreamers Pro. I could Dreamers Pro you.
Dreamers Pro it up.
Yeah, I could do that, or I could do this.
I've been looking for the best deal on Celtics tickets, and with over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. You can use my code DREAMERSPRO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code DREAMERSPRO. Make sure you check the link in the description to download the app.
Yeah.
Love it.
Gary rolled.
Yes.
Tangwade.
It wasn't Tangwade in a bad way. It was just
I know.
Tangwade.
It was an actual commercial.
So there were a lot of great individual performances tonight. I think we want to run through a couple of them as well. But I want to ask you, Josue, first, the thing we talked about at the top of the show. What possessed the Celtics to play the style of basketball they played tonight? Did they just lean into, hey, we're small, so we got to play fast, to play with such pace? But it wasn't just the pace they played with. It was the movement in the half court, a lot of passes per possession, working it around, for best shots. Yeah. What do you think got into them? Every time, we're critical, people are critical of the Celtics, it usually has to do with, too much iso ball, stagnation, walking it up, playing a little bit slow. And it can be frustrating to watch at times. But then when you see them move it like this and have the success that they had, you're like, wow, this is great. Do this all the time.
Yeah.
What do you think got into them tonight that made them do that? And also, why don't they do it more often? I kind of put it on Twitter, oh my God, play like this all the time. And people are like, that's unrealistic. I'm like, I don't know why that's unrealistic. I think balls to the wall, 82 games of insane defensive pressure from all of your stars and max effort, 4 quarters a game, diving on the floor and this and that. I think that's unrealistic during the regular season. I don't think moving the basketball and playing a cohesive team brand of offensive basketball is is that challenging to do it in a game. I just think it's a matter of buy-in. And like the thing Tatum said the other night about like if we all do a little less, we're gonna do more. Like this was this was a prime example of that. You look at Brown, 18 points tonight, one of his best games of the season. It had nothing to do with how many he put in the basket. Like, are they getting it?
Right. You know what, John? I don't think that's unrealistic. I honestly think they look at their opponent, they look at what happened last time, and being shorthanded is one of those games where you're like, we have to really just buy into the system, and I think we'll be okay. And then the way they came out in that first quarter, it was evident. I mean, Orlando had a quick lead to start, and then all of a sudden Celtics just snapped into focus, and that was the type of pressure that I feel like they had to apply over and over again when they were down in Orlando, and we just didn't see that. But you look back, that wasn't the same team that we're seeing now, at least in this past week or so. Ever since they've been eliminated from the end-season tournament, I've seen a newfound focus in these guys. And what Joe Missoula was saying about the leaders and not only Tatum and Brown, but Drew and Derek especially, I think that's true. I mean, look, when guys are out, like I said from the top, other guys step in. Like, that's what great teams do. And I think because of this personnel, because of the way they've been rolling of late, and again, what happened in Orlando, they knew, okay, look, we got to put forth this type of effort. The bigs are going to protect the rim. They're quick. One of the plays in that first half that really stood out to me was Jaylen Brown finishing with the loud dunk on one end and having enough, gas to run all the way back and then block, what's his name? Bizate at the rim, I think it was. Like, that's incredible. I mean, those are the type of plays that you're not only setting the example, but guys are going to buy into that naturally. And especially when you have such a talented group, such a talented team, when guys are out, other people you can plug them right in. I mean, Peyton Pritchard, man, he was on fire right off the bench, right off the jump, right? 2 back-to-back threes, is that unrealistic to rely on Pritchard to score 6-7 threes and on a nightly basis? Yeah, absolutely. But when the Celtics needed him, or just guys in particular off the bench to really step up because they're shorthanded, they did. And I think that Joe Missoula is confident that this type of thing can happen on a regular basis because he has a deeper team than some people like to think. I think a lot of the times he really is relying on guys just sticking with the system, and the rest is going to figure itself out. And I think tonight was a great example of that.
Yeah.
Right,
Jimmy?
Back's my dog.
Oh, damn it, Jimmy checked out about.
No.
Jimmy's like, should I grow a beard?
I just shaved, actually. Thank you very much.
Maybe I should tan. Damn. He's thinking about that comment.
I'm just reading the comments. Yeah, somebody said Jimmy's a 10 on the whiteness scale. Yeah, I'm thinking about hitting the tanning booth now. But no. Yeah. I'm with Josue. Listen, I've been listening to Josue preach. I think he's saying some of the similar things that we said earlier in the show, John. So I don't want to repeat myself again, but this team is starting to get, and Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum alluded to it yesterday. They're starting to get more comfortable in their roles and understanding what they need to do and what they need to do to get their teammates comfortable in their roles. They're working together, moving the ball around. I thought Derek White tonight was we haven't even mentioned Derek White. And again, he just had one of those great Derek White nights where he was kind of like the connector out there. You had Tatum doing his thing, Brown effective without having to score 30 points. And I thought Derek White was just an all-around complete game performance from him. So those guys are starting to get a little bit more acclimated and a little bit more in tune with one another out there. And I'll tell you what, Derek White is he's going to be a borderline household name around the NBA world soon enough, I think. He couldn't even crack the top 100. I would say he's going to be, if the Celtics weren't so stacked, it'd be in the All-Star conversation.
Derek White's a top 40 player today, like maybe even higher. You talk about a guy, he's almost perfect right now. Like between
perfect play.
No, it's ridiculous though. Like when he has it, he's constantly moving, and his shot. Now that he's so confident in his shot, he can shoot it at any time. Pull ups, just walking up, stepping right into it. When he gets his little floater game going, terrific. But he's so friggin' ridiculous on defense. Like he's one of the best, both team defenders and individual on-ball defenders in the NBA. I think all defense is locked again for him right now.
Yeah.
He must be the biggest pain in the ass to play against. Like,
oh, dude, how many times have I said this?
It's nonstop with him. He's freaking relentless. When we talk about like, oh, you can't expect the stars to play like this every game. Derek White plays like this every game.
What I've been saying is, if you're an opposing team, you're looking at the schedule, you're looking at the week ahead, you see the Celtics. If you're a guard on the other team, you're just shaking your head like, damn it. Like, I don't want to have to play against Holiday and White. Like, they're just going to be nonstop. They're going to make everything so difficult. And you can't even get the ball across half court without them pestering you if they really want to. So I agree with you completely, John and Josue. I think you said something earlier about it. But these two guys, or White specifically, they just bring it. There's no off button, right?
Yeah.
And that's why with Holiday, you kind of live with the couple of misses here and there because he doesn't let up on the defensive end either. I mean, these two guys, when the season started and they were both peak health, and I think Holiday's back to where he needs to be now, in my opinion, there wasn't a better two-way guard combo in the NBA. And I don't think there is today either. I think those are the two toughest guys guard-wise that you have to match up against.
Yeah, I mean, they were really just frustrating. Orlando's backcourt, I feel like, I just think that when they're locked in the way they are, man, like it's frustrating for teams like the Orlando Magic, especially when they're like, I felt like in this game, and I know Joe Missoula talks about this a lot, being physical and showing that physicality and not getting, beat in that regard. But I felt like today it was like they took it another level, man. It was like I turned to Bobby and I was like, man, Joe Missoula was saying all that during pregame, but these guys are like, they're dropping like flies. Did you see how many people got hurt from the Orlando Magic? I mean, Jaylen, I'm not saying that this is dirty stuff, right? I just think it was just their approach, to defense, and so many times where they just sort of knew their tendencies, Shit, I mean, even Keita, what was it? What's his name? Bagazi did like 4 up fakes. He knew. He's like, okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it goes. Slap that ball until, man, like he was so ready for that. And I'm like, these guys, they're so patient, ready to go.
Yeah, Porzingis broke a guy's face yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
Killed a guy.
Killed him. well, when the news came out after the fact, it's just like, oh wow, he was really hurt then.
Yeah, Porzingis killed a guy with his
pitchfork
midsection with his torso.
But that might be his fault too, because Garland he's too quick for his own good. I guess he ran right into Porzingis.
Who else? It doesn't matter. Anyway.
When you made that face, I think you're gonna be like, no, it was definitely Garland. Don't mess with him.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, the guard play. Who you can't win without great guard play, and they have great guard play. Like it's unreal.
Yeah.
I like good guard play.
The deeper we get into the season, the more I'm just like, man, it's a really good thing that they traded for Jrue Holiday. Like, remember that? I mean, it was only 24-hour debate, I guess, 24 to 48-hour debate, but
yeah.
It's no question. I mean, this is why Brad did what he did. Like he had to see this come together, and look how they're thriving. And they don't even need to have like humongous scoring nights. I mean, Jrue Holiday, I'm sure, is due, but that hasn't been the case for him. But he's been just as effective.
The good thing about Jrue Holiday is like I'm stunned when I look at the box score and see he either had as many points as he did or as few points as he did. With the exception of a couple games where I was like, oh, Holiday was bad, and he did. He had a stretch, 2, 3, 4 where he didn't look right, and he was causing team. He was turning the ball over, and and he's had troubles finishing in and around the rim this year. So that's kind of not been great. Though he's actually been fairly consistent from 3, both in terms of catch and shoot and pull up. Sorry, that's Amit coming in. More sound bites coming down. But yeah, the box score almost doesn't matter just because the impact has to do with a lot of other things that he does. But White legit does everything. I mean, he can't stop doing everything.
Right.
It's so freaking impressive.
No, it really is.
So impressive.
It really is.
Yeah.
And then this the outside shooting. I mean, he can do this all day, man. It's like this is just light work for him because again, I mean, I've said this so many times on the show, like he's open a lot of time. I just feel like even when he's not, he finds certain he knows how to get that shot that he wants. And it's zero hesitation now. Whereas last year, sometimes you saw
it's
that.
Incredible watching him in year one, and every time
compared to now,
every shot he took in that first year was a great shot, and none of them went in. None, literally none.
Now he's pulling the
28%. Nothing went in. It was like poor guy was in his own head, and then he got the yips, and he didn't want to shoot anymore, and he was passing up shots, and then he was short arming ones in the lane. Like he got it. Just every time it was like, oh, that's a good shot, and the form looked great, and it looks good coming out of his hand, and none of them went in.
Why do I feel like you're just trying to like double down on your take back then? How you didn't like Derek
because
White.
We're not doubling down, Jimmy.
No. I feel like you're doubling down in the sense of like, no, you guys don't forget. You guys forget he was really, really bad. Like this is why
Jimmy and I have been firmly planted there. Like,
you were both on the same boat. You were on the same boat. You were on the same boat, right?
It was firmly planted there. He just brutal offensively. He was a zero.
Yeah.
He was a zero. But now it's shocking when it doesn't. Like they kick it to him. How many times does Brown or Tatum find him on a kick out and he's just standing there in the corner and and you're like, that's going, that one's going to fall. Yeah. It's just totally different. You're just so confident in that now. It's like, and we also talked about this before. He just to have the guts to just walk up and just decide like, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to take it to the basket, or I'm just going to step up and, shoot a three early in the clock because they gave it to me. Like that takes balls to do on a team that has as many talented scorers as the Celtics do. And when he does, it never feels like it was the wrong play or the wrong shot. It just never does. It feels like, oh yeah, no, I get why he took that. And I'm glad that he did, even if it doesn't go in. Like there's none of that, like, oh man, we didn't need it. It really is amazing for someone to do as many things right every single night as White does.
Yeah, no question, man. I just thought you were trying to just emphasize
confidence in him
how
too.
bad he was.
You know what it is? It's personality too. He doesn't have that superstar mentality. He's not looking to try to get his. He's not trying to prove to the world that he's an MVP or an all-star. He knows what he's capable of doing to help this team. He's proven it already, and he plays within himself. And it just so happens that he's extremely heady player out there, high basketball IQ, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, just plays smart basketball, and the rest of the team benefits from it. So, I mean, he makes things so. I mean, I'm sure that guys on the team would say that he makes things so much easier for them out there because they can trust him. He makes a smart play. He plays hard on both ends of the court. He just does all the right things. So, it like you said, John, he's playing like a top 40 player right now. It really is. So
who gets the brownie?
Who gets the brownie?
We haven't even mentioned Tatum. What's funny is like Tatum had a cool 30 tonight. Couldn't hit a three, but was devastating going to the basket. Played small ball center when they needed him. Grabbed 6 boards. Dished out 4 assists. Had an overall solid game. I've got people in my mentions and tweeting at me like, is Tatum ever going to figure it out? Is he ever going to learn? Like, is there anything you saw about Tatum tonight you didn't like? And no. I will say, I think he was the only guy tonight who forced a shot or two when he didn't need to. I did feel like there was a couple times where he's like, all right, my turn. And, took a couple of ugly ones. But beyond that, what am I missing?
Yeah. I mean, nothing really stood out. He did have
with Tatum
a lingering conversation with one of the officials, but that's neither here or there.
But no, you know what I'm seeing? Those guys are giving both Tatum and Brown. I thought, especially tonight, gave the ball up quite a bit with the notion that maybe they get it back and maybe they don't, and didn't really seem to have that much of a problem with it. Like I said, I only found a couple of moments where I thought Tatum was a little bit like, all right, this one's going up no matter what. But most of the time it was decisive, just ripping it and taking guys directly to the basket or working the ball around to other people for a better shot. He had that great play where he waited in the post, back down Anthony, waited for the double to draw, kicked it over to the corner for 3 late in the games. Terrific read. Like I thought he played a solid game.
Yeah,
and like you don't even talk about it. It was such a ho-hum 30.
Yeah,
I know. Right?
There's
We're
been
not
a
even
lot of those. I feel like,
Yeah.
it's like you just kind of expect a stat line kind of.
Well,
like that.
he's doing that thing. He's been doing that second half thing. It doesn't matter how much he has at halftime. He's gonna go for like one of those 12, 13. Well, what was it last game? But 17-point quarters, whether it's the third or fourth, and I just feel like that's how he gets to 30 so quickly and getting to the free throw line. But what did he do tonight?
Yeah, he went 6 of 9 from the free throw line.
6 of 9.
We mentioned it. We mentioned it off the top, John. We said how they were able to be effective. Tatum and Brown tonight were able to be effective without hitting threes. So Tatum drops 30, only hits 6 free throws. Majority of those points were from inside the 3-point line. So it's just a different. It's nice because it's a different way of doing it. So that's why you like it. You don't, again, I said this earlier, you don't like to see somebody, your star player, go 2 of 9, or if Jaylen goes 0 for or whatever, but you like to see that they can figure out other ways to score when the shots aren't falling. And that's what I liked about what Tatum did tonight.
Bobby, why were the Celtics so good tonight offensively? I mean, we know why. They were moving the ball great, but like what got into them?
Played with great pace, I thought. Got ahead.
Awesome.
That first Brown dunk. Something he's doing often now, and it's always been a part of his game, but getting ahead of the defense, and they have so many good passers to find him cutting to the rim on that back door. Smart used to be great at that, but Holiday's finding him more often there. Horford does it when he plays. So that was good early. I thought he had another phenomenal start to this game, set a good tone. Tatum was pretty aggressive, again, forced some stuff in this game, but those two guys set a very aggressive downhill tone to this game, and I thought they both passed well in this one. Brown initiating some multi-pass sequences again. This is the second straight game where you saw some nice lengthy possessions from them. And then you had cutters. I thought Stevens, O'Shea, those guys provided some cutting you don't usually have out there, and I'm thrilled that that's how they approached the game. There was one play O'Shea got an assist on out of the corner where you would normally expect him to just launch a 3 on the kick out, but he stayed patient, passed it to White, and White got downhill for a score on that play. So they were pretty aggressive going downhill in this game. I thought they really challenged the Magic interior, put pressure on the rim, and then they defended fantastic. I mean, they were all over Paolo and Franz in this game, and the Magic were just a mess taking care of the ball.
They murdered those guys.
Yeah, they were an absolute disaster.
You forgot he was out there, man. He was so rattled, especially the Paolo.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Completely forgot.
Bobby, what I heard Jaylen Brown had a good presser. What did he have to say?
He was campaigning for his all defense again. The block.
He did it again?
Yeah. He said
that sounded like a skit. Did he really say that?
Someone asked him about his dunks, and he was like, "I want to talk about my steals and my blocks." So that was great.
That's funny.
But also, just
last year we spent campaigning hard for All-Star and then All-NBA so he could get paid. This year we got to get it. We got to get. I guess Celtics fans out there, you've been given your marching orders. Start your campaign.
Yeah.
Potential blocks. How many of those tonight?
You don't usually
two games at the 2 games in a row.
I liked how he played tonight defensively.
Yeah, I think he and Tatum are.
Oh, he's got to vote, guys. He's got to vote.
Oh yeah, he's got one.
Look again. This is.
I just don't know what to.
I feel like someone told him just keep talking about it, and you'll get on the team.
Every time I say, "Oh, I'm just gonna lower my expectations of the rest of his game and just focus on him scoring," he starts to do more other than score, and I'm like, oh, "Okay, so you are capable of being this good at this thing." So now it's
because he's
what do you want me? What do you want me to do here?
Because he's finally realizing when you put effort on that end of the floor, especially for a player of his caliber and the way he plays, the way he scores, his athleticism, he's most likely going to be the recipient of those easy baskets on the other end. Efficient Jaylen, which was a lot of the time that was the Jaylen we were used to as he continued to get better and better year after year.
But let's walk everybody through this analysis process, okay? When Brown has games like this, when he's doing everything, right? Defense, moving the ball, passing the ball, and then everybody who loves Jaylen Brown unconditionally all the time says, "See, look at all of those things that he did." What are you also saying when you say that?
Right.
That he wasn't doing those things before, which is what we were pointing out.
There was something different.
When we would say there's so when it's better, what does that mean? It was before,
Yeah.
Worse. So that's kind of the point is if he's capable of those things, if Tatum's capable of those things, you want to see them do them all the time. And when they revert into head down iso ball individual stuff and it's not and they go on those cold stretches where the team doesn't look connected and those guys are then they catch shit in those instances because that's kind of how it goes. So if they're capable of doing that, it's like then do it all the time. It's so much better that way, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to saying like, oh, just leave the guy alone. Poor guy can't dribble. Poor guy can't pass. Like that's not. If that's not the case, then the expectation is that. That's kind of the point.
That's like the only. That's like the only thing he does bad, guys. Like it's not a big deal. Those are the Jaylen heads. That's what they were saying.
Right.
We talk about the consistency a lot, and the team's getting more consistent. It's quarter to quarter, game to game. It feels like they've been playing well outside of that in-season tournament game for a long time now. That's their only loss recently of late. So
that had Joey vibes. That did have Joey vibes.
I was waiting for you to answer my rhetorical questions, Josue.
I know. I feel like I kind of mumbled it. And then I thought of Joe immediately. Yeah.
I just love how they're building up leads.
But
they're
it's
building
so
up
funny.
Leads. They're not letting them go. 25
third quarter
in this
was
game.
great tonight, right?
Yeah, and the Magic didn't give up. I mean, they just kept scoring inside, kept pushing the ball, kept shooting. They didn't let up at all, and they kept poking the Celtics, and the Celtics had to respond with some good possessions, and they did in this game. They look so good right now, and they shot well again tonight, so that always helps. But I feel like their process is really good.
And Bobby, we talked about that in terms of process. Like you have those games where, I said this earlier, but like, they're not shooting threes well, like they weren't at the beginning of the game, but then they just keep jacking them and hope they go in. But tonight they just kept moving the ball and creating good opportunities. And eventually those opportunities started to fall. So it's really more about how you come about the threes more than actually taking the threes. And tonight was a good example of that. Like you got to the 40 plus that Missoula wants, but they kind of did it the right way. And that was by moving the ball, as you said, multi-pass possessions, passing up a good shot to get a great shot. They did that all night. Did I just disappear?
Oh, John's gone.
What the hell is going on here? Here's JB on defense. Okay, start the campaign, everybody. Get to your Twitter machines. JB all defense. Start it now.
Also, you had a couple dunks that, kind of sparked the crowd, got people hyped. Tell us about those.
Yeah, I also had a couple steals, a couple blocks. I'm going to start having to run my own campaign for first team all defense, but no, it's cool. I'm really locked in on both sides of the ball, but where I'm really feeling comfortable and I feel like I'm excelling, making plays at the rim, taking the ball from people. I'm doing my job and more on the defensive side, whether people want to pay attention to it or not.
Did we do something wrong?
I'm not campaigning, but I am campaigning.
Did you guys get scolded for not paying enough attention to Jaylen's defense? Is that what he's doing?
I feel like that's what he's trying to say.
Maybe this year.
Why are you bringing up these questions? Like I've been doing this.
That's the tough thing about defense is you expect it from this group, so you're not gonna overwhelm them with praise when they play great on that end of the ball, and they have all year. I feel like they haven't had many games that they've slipped up there the way they did last year. I mean, I was all over that to start last year, John. The defense wasn't the same. The intensity, the attention to detail on that end feels like they're scheming more on that end, playing together more. They have a good group to play the style that they want to, and they're mixing it up again. I don't know if we talked that they broke into a nice zone look last game. With Stevens out there. They didn't do that tonight, but they have some different looks that they can go to. They press. I feel like that's another thing Holiday doesn't get much credit for, is just how involved he is in the play calling and just managing the defense possession to possession, because they were just relentless tonight. How many turnovers? 21 for Orlando? Celtics never forced that many. So that's a big step for them. I feel like they're starting to do things game in and game out.
And the steals, the steals were 14 steals, they average. And that's another one is sometimes those turnovers are, as you said, forced turnovers or the other team just making mistakes. They took the ball away 14 times tonight, which is a lot.
Yeah, they're doing stuff we haven't seen them do this week. Free throws, 20 more tonight. They are passing the ball, 31 assists.
And they started small with that, Bobby. In the first half.
We haven't seen them do that either.
The free throw attempts were few, and the 3-point attempts weren't what they would normally be. And they got both of those numbers up in the second half. They just kept coming.
Well, that's what I like about Stevens and Brissett tonight is they weren't just out there launching threes in the corner. They were playing to their strengths. Brissett especially, that nice backdoor cut off Tatum to start his night. The cutting dunk. He's a cutter. That's his strength as an offensive player. And I know the Celtics don't do it a lot. They want guys spacing. They want guys shooting threes. But when you have a player out there who doesn't shoot threes well, you want him playing to his strengths. And that gave him confidence in this game. Me and Josue were talking about just that pep in his step. He ran around and fouled a little bit after some of those nice runs he had, but at least he was playing with confidence and aggressiveness. You've compared him to Nesmith, John, and he admitted it tonight that he was in his own head. He was trying to play perfect. No, just the sort of things we've talked about with some of these bench guys over the years, that they have such small windows of opportunity that you miss a shot or two and you're done. And it's like, oh my God, I'm out of here if I make a mistake. Yeah. And he's talked about that all year. Someone else talked about that recently too, somewhere else in the league. I forget, but it's a problem with this team sometimes. And, I didn't say it the other night, but I said it to Josue at one point tonight. I didn't love Joe ruling these guys out. It's Luke, Sam, Peyton, and, that's it. The other guys are just on the bench.
I don't love either both that, Bobby, and referring to them tonight as the third unit.
Oh yeah, I said it to Bobby. I was like, what?
Tatum calling them the stay ready bunch.
The stay ready crew.
It's are you guys trying to make these guys feel bad about themselves? They're already trying to build their confidence. They don't play a lot of minutes. Why do you have to keep pointing out that they're not significant? And not really part of what you're doing. I don't get that at all.
Yeah, it's this motivation can dip if you guys keep talking about this, right?
Right.
And it looked like it did, right?
Shouldn't you be saying there's no – I mean, I don't want to go full Patriots here and be Belichick. No job is guaranteed. Everybody earns their minutes. Why are you telling people you guys are all set, you're my guys, and you guys can't do anything
they're his
to get
guys.
on the court? That doesn't make sense.
Guys.
Before the season started, though, Tatum was talking that Paul Pierce quote that he kept saying over and over, that every single guy from 1 through 15, you got to make sure that everyone's on the same page. Pretty much saying, he didn't say the name, but freaking, when they would go out to eat and stuff, Gabe Pruitt was there too. Every single person mattered, and I take that message, or I think it resonates better with the rest of the team than calling them the stay ready crew, and you're going to play once or twice a month, but stay ready. It's all right, I guess that's a compliment, but I'll stay ready.
The stay ready.
Chat, we need you guys to come up with something better for those guys.
Oh, I missed it.
You
said it so well, John. It was bench with attitude in 19, and now it's
yeah. That's stay ready.
I forgot
and
about
last
that.
year was
BWA.
Last year was kind of cool too. Remember the bus one boys or whatever it was? That was that was close to the state.
Bus 2. Yeah.
I think that
was close to the
Blake.
Yeah, no, and Blake was great for raising those guys up. They didn't have that this year from him, and I feel like a lot of these guys got lost. You'd look at Lamar on the sideline up until he got in the game for the first time yesterday, and it looked like he had pretty much given up, at least body language wise, about ever getting in the game again. And even after the game, Joe was like, yeah, he wasn't part of the game plan, but Luke goes down and we just throw him out there. So I get it, right? Not every team's using 15 guys. And I agree with Joe that Luke and Peyton and Sam are on another level than this group that, is a little one-dimensional across the board. Hader's a rebounder, Brissett's a cutter, Banton really doesn't have a definable skill yet that really gets him in the game consistently. So those guys are all developing. They're all fighting to prove themselves. But maybe there's a matchup. I mean, they kind of I almost feel like in this game, John, they kind of accidentally walked into the way you have to play the Magic. Smaller, more flexible, more perimeter based. They would have just played big against this team and try to bang, toe to toe with them again if they were fully healthy. But tonight they got some real active, smaller bodies out there that made them a little less predictable defensively. They were switching matchups a lot with the guys that were out there. And then offensively, you had some different skill sets as far as cutters go. I mean, they were ignoring Lamar, so he was just walking to the basket, catching and finishing. Same with Brissett. And those guys made good decisions out there. So maybe there's a night where you don't have energy. Maybe there's a night where you see a matchup potential from one of these guys and, get them involved. And like Josue said, that was Pierce's message to this team to start the year, that everybody has to be involved in some way. And to just sit out half the team and be like, yeah, if we're healthy, you guys are never playing. I don't think that's right.
Weird. Yeah. Let's, I want to continue this conversation. I do want to let everybody know, another one of our
Cada
sponsors,
too. We should throw his
I
name
just
in there.
got my box, yesterday, Josue. What did you guys do? I waited for a couple of weeks till after Thanksgiving.
So I heard you had shepherd's pie.
Made shepherd's pie for the fam.
Oh, that one's good. Yeah, I had that one too.
I didn't get that. I need to make sure next time that I get 3 of them.
You know what? Honestly, great family style meal because it's kind of something everybody can eat.
One of my favorites.
And I added a couple of my own little twists to it, but honestly, what it comes with is perfectly set.
Cumin in there?
No. But it's fine. I did a little couple.
Josue knows.
I just remember one time, the one time I mentioned cumin, you go, "Oh, I love that stuff." You said so
yeah. So no, I added a little stuff, but again, HelloFresh. If you guys want to get in on the action, this is a really cool deal. HelloFresh, which is here with us, as a regular sponsor of the Garden Report. Anytime you sign up, and again, this offer is going to be around for a little bit, but no reason not to cash in now. HelloFresh.com/CLNS free breakfast for life. Bobby couldn't friggin' believe the amount of breakfast he got in there.
It was overflowing, literally.
Every box you order is going to give you a free breakfast item as well, which is freaking awesome. But again, the kit is great. I got 3 family-sized meals coming to my house. It's, for what you pay, you're getting, home-cooked restaurant quality meals for a fraction of the price. Pretty easy to put together as we talk about pre-portioned ingredients, customize your meals, creative sort of menu items so you're not eating the same sort of stuff every single night. I got some cool pork stir fry thing. It's kind of got an Asian little situation going on there. My daughter loves that stuff, so that's what we're making tomorrow. So pretty psyched about it, but check it out, HelloFresh.com. I filmed some of it too. I might make a little commercial of the cooking. HelloFresh.com/C. I'll Tangway myself next time and just put up the ad.
We're just gonna see you cooking.
/CLNS free. Use the code CLNS free and get free breakfast for life. Back to the game, Bobby. Other observations? Like I said, we went around the world a little bit, but things that popped for you.
I was gonna throw in Cada there. Good stuff from him. Fouling though, you see the issue that's preventing him from getting out there consistently. He fouls out in 18 minutes, so that's a problem. He was very handsy in the post.
Yeah, he fouled out. He fouled out last time too. So.
Yeah, so that's tough, but nice left-handed hook, couple finishes late from Pritchard, and the
Is
rebounding.
Blake still an option, Bobby?
I'm looking into that soon. I've been thinking about that.
Yeah,
I feel like
because you do have that 15th roster spot. Cada is on a 2-way, so he can't play in the playoffs, and he's got 40-something games. So we don't know whether or not they're going to want him as part of the regular playoff rotation in order to elevate him to that 15th spot. So it's still open. You can't do buyouts because of their their cap penalties. Yeah.
I think Blake's a great option. It's just whether he
Blake
wants
is
to come back.
sitting there as a potential option as one of those guys that you could do. I think it's possible, right? He seems like the exact type of late, as you talked about.
He's working out right now.
Blue sort of guy there, around as much as for morale as much as he is for anything he's going to do on the court. But everybody likes him. He was such a positive force on the team last year.
Maybe he'll come when winter.
This seems like a perfect fit. I feel like he would just really fit with this team. I mean, obviously he fit last year, but especially when nights Porzingis can't go, nights that just like last year, second night of back-to-backs for Al Horford. You plug him in, you feel, he can take on 11, 12, 13 minutes and give you production, 7 and 7 or something like that, some kind of stat line like that.
Yeah, that's a story I've been meaning to look into. I find it super interesting. I
That's
do know
gonna pop
last
up.
year.
I'm sure it will.
Last year was a challenge for him. You just saw what he went through to get ready for every game, and it was extensive. I mean, his body is taking a beating, to say the least.
Answering some super chat questions here before we wrap it here. Anyone wants to fire away, go ahead. But do you guys miss Marcus Smart?
A little bit, but not in the basketball sense, if that makes sense. More of the
to him.
Like the interviews and the insight. I feel like he kind of let us know a little bit of what's going on between the guys and that type of stuff. But I mean, what I mean by that also is that I'm not saying this team is missing him. You know what I mean? So I miss that energy, I guess, but I don't think this team misses that role. I think it's been filled properly.
Oh yeah, we said it. Drew is exactly who you would have selected to step into that role. And I still believe that if they didn't get Drew, they'd really be missing that element. But they got very fortunate with that deal for a number of different reasons. And the thing about Smart too is you're seeing the physical breakdown a little bit here too. It's becoming consistent the time he misses off the court with the ankles and stuff like that. And that would have been tough for this team. They've been relatively healthy. Boston has. I mean, it was just weird tonight, John, just the amount of absences that just flowed on them going into this game. And Luke's going to miss a week here. Porzingis, no real update on him. Joe was pretty tight-lipped about that pregame, so that's not great. I never like hearing about calves, and this is obviously pretty similar to what he was dealing with late last month. So not great.
Yeah, not great. My answer to the Smart question, and missing Smart is just, for me, it's just sentimentality. Like in the stuff that you guys mentioned, for me, I hate parting with Boston athletes who love being part of the Boston experience, and Marcus was one of them. So like Marcus was one of those guys that loved you back. You know what I mean? Is like he got it. He got what it meant. And he enjoyed being here, and he had a lot of pride. I hate getting rid of those guys because not everybody feels that way. So for for sure, that always gets me. And I hate the feeling of
good point.
Man, did you really, you do feel like you've ripped somebody's soul out when you send them from a place that they really want to be. And Marcus was that guy for sure. The basketball, no, because I always thought just the inconsistencies just drove me crazy. And I didn't necessarily think that the good outweighed the bad. I think you're getting it. I think everything that he brought that was good, you're getting it, but not nearly as much of the other stuff as well, which you would, ride or die. And I just think the guard play has just been so much, just been elevated this year. I don't know that they're missing him on the court, and I think they've got plenty of energy and plenty of leadership as well. So maybe not on the court, but I definitely missed the guy.
By the way, John Morant back Tuesday, and he could be as well. So maybe they'll turn around. Yeah.
But he's a hard guy to not root for. I'm going to root for him everywhere he goes with Smart. No question about it.
Same for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I do hope they turn it around there, and I'd like to see him have success. Other thoughts, guys, before we close the book?
They better do it again on Sunday, man. I mean, that's really it. It's what we've been preaching: consistency. If they keep this thing going, 14-0 at TD Garden, it's a heck of a feat, if you ask me. Very impressive stuff.
Yeah.
I do think I'm a big fan of this Magic team. They got a little bit ahead of themselves coming into this one. You saw them at shoot around this morning, kind of bouncing around. We own these guys. I talked to Cole Anthony.
Especially that Cole interview. I was going to say, good stuff, Bob.
He didn't want to talk about the Eddie stuff, but he was like, we got the defense. We know what we need to do against them. Mo Wagner, they cut him. That was disrespectful.
You think the Celtics, this was part of it tonight? Because did they say anything in postgame that made you think that
Jaylen said he felt like this was the most important game of the year.
Oh, okay. So he was extra motivated.
Yeah.
And then when Joe was asked about it, he said that I don't need to do it for those guys, but I guess I do a little bit here and there. But so the way I took that is it's already happening. He kind of just throws in his 2 cents every now and then. So.
And you said it, Josue. There was a physicality to Boston's game tonight. They got outpowered last game, just in terms of the physicality of the game. There's really no other way to say it. This game, the Celtics were much more physical. Brown unloading that dunk on Black.
Speed is also physicality, if you can exert some level of your kind of physical dominance on another team, they just kind of ran them ragged all game long. And Trevor, thank you. We appreciate you too. And so you're right. They were undersized a little bit, but you're right. They played aggressive and they played fast.
Yeah. And you saw that through the game. The Magic looked overpowered by that at times. And, I said this to Josue during the game. Tatum seems to have I don't know if it's the workouts from the summer or he's a little more fresh this year or what, but he has a little bit more burst going to the rim this year. I mean, he's beating some guys off the dribble, which he hasn't always done. And that dunk, he floated a while.
It's an extra something. You're right. There's that little bang where he's getting there quicker. You're 100% right.
Yeah,
and he's gone, and he's using his body to finish strong.
Yeah,
the little,
I think it's the footwork.
The peekaboo he did on Wagner there, and going to the left was beautiful. But he had a couple. I thought I wonder if Tatum took a little personally because Isaac took him off his game a little bit last time they played. He got physical with him. Tatum had a tough time getting around him, and this time he was not fucking around at all.
The Orlando bench did nothing.
He got it, and when Isaac was in the game, he got it, and he went at him, and he left him in the dust a couple of times. It was really impressive. Because I thought Isaac, I wouldn't say locked him up, but at times he did last game. He put a lot of pressure on him. Yeah.
Him and Mo were really effective last game, and those guys did nothing tonight.
Yep. Amazing.
Yeah, it took him out of their game.
Yeah, amazing. A great game. Like I said, if
they needed this.
But it's so good to see that this is in their repertoire. You always question whether it's a matter of choosing to play this way or hopefully this is part of an evolution. I mean, and again, personnel
at home, John.
But it's not just that; it's the style that they played. Personnel can factor into it because you're down a couple of bigs. You can run a little bit more. You can't run and you can't play with this much pace when you're dragging a couple of either 7'3" guys or 37-year-old guys along with you. Not to say that those guys aren't capable of pushing the pace a little bit. And Horford's certainly one of the most athletic guys you'll ever see. At his age, but or if it's just a matter of their evolution, which is buying into that thing that we mentioned from Tatum the other night with the do less and be more thing. Are they getting that a little bit? Because tonight was one of those where it looked like nobody cared if it was, I don't care if I score as long as we score. And that's how they were moving the ball around. I thought it was beautiful.
I like it. If they can keep that going and be in a good place.
You guys are in a good place right now.
And it's realistic. Okay. Let's plant that seed now. This is realistic. They can do this on the nightly basis. All right.
Yes. Have high expectations, guys. It's okay. You spend a lot of time and probably money following this team. It's okay to have high expectations, but also vote Jaylen all defensive.
I don't think that's a fan vote. But
I love how he goes, I should really start campaigning. I'm like, you're doing it already.
You're doing it.
I think you know this. You know what you're doing.
There's no doubt.
They've really been, the last couple of press conferences between Joe and Jaylen didactic. Okay. They want to tell you guys what you don't know,
Right. And it's funny because
they're teaching you. I know you think the dunks are a big deal, but what really happened tonight was I was awesome on defense. I know you guys think assists is an important stat, but it's not,
Yeah, that's so funny. That's hilarious you say that, Bobby. Remember when there was a reporter who, I don't want to put his name out there, but it was a reporter who he mentioned the whole assist thing. And he goes, there's a lot been said about, the assists and all that. He goes, yeah, between you guys. He's like, all right, well, in the reporter room, I guess there's been a lot said about it. It's like, Joe kind of corrected it right there.
No. He was talking about the bench. He was saying, the bench was a big
production
early in the year.
Or assists. Yeah. Oh, yeah, bench production. Right. He's like, oh, well, between you guys, I'm like, between everyone, Joe, like Celtics fans, like everyone was kind of thinking, how thin is this bench going to be heading into the season? And man, it's been impressive.
I feel like we haven't complained about the bench since October. It's unbelievable. They've just been so good, and that was a big concern
because
Yeah.
Horford's been playing very well, and Hauser is a lock, is a rotational lock now. You love his minutes. We talked about it last game. So really, the bench swings mainly on whether Pritchard's hitting his shots or not. You know, like a good bench day is when Pritchard's hitting them, and or you get a single decent contribution from one of the other guys, like a decent Cornet game or one of the other guys if they get in there. But for the most part,
ready crew.
The stay ready crew. How often are you ever annoyed? How often are you disappointed in either Horford or Hauser's performances? Almost never. So 7 deep, you feel pretty good. You're really quibbling over the 8th guy, and maybe the 8 to 10 minutes the 9th guy might get in a game. You know.
Right. But no, that's true. But also, real quick, I want to make sure I don't forget this. One last point on Jaylen though. This is perfect. I'm just figuring this out now because at the end of the season, if he doesn't get it, he's going to get the question, oh, do you think you were robbed? Or, there's going to be a narrative out there that Jaylen was robbed out of all defense first team. And then maybe that way he gets second team. I don't know. We'll see. But he knows what he's doing. It's good. He's building, he's planting a seed in everyone's mind right now.
Yeah. But the bench really turned right around the time, like Hauser started a teeny bit cold. As soon as he started heating up and making his threes and everything was good, but that happened like early. You just haven't really had an issue. I think the bench issue was during that period where you were trying out different guys, and the concern was like none of them were really getting it during the period of time that Porzingis was out for a little bit.
So bad. Yeah.
Pritchard was shooting 23%.
Yeah. O'Shea went in. That was about it, and you're like, oh god, this is really brutal. But yeah. They've been good. They've been good.
I hope O'Shea
right,
sticks on.
There's something else to tell when it's not. You got to start the conversation now. Jalen's got to start that conversation now. Maybe he can get on a defensive team in the next couple of years, But you got to start now.
Oh, you're saying so this could be for next year? So okay, or that.
Who knows?
Either way, you got it's going to be on people's mind now because you mentioned it.
People will feel guilty for not voting for him this year. Then they'll have to vote for him next year. So he might be playing the long game on it.
Yeah, you have to remind people. People don't talk about them as defenders, but they can be.
I mean, we always talk about them as if they decided to be elite defenders, how ridiculously good this team would be. And we've seen, even going back 2 years ago into the Ime stretch for that second half, when those guys committed defensively, how ridiculous that team was, magical. The way that they were playing. Because they're so long and it was so hard to do anything. And obviously you had the rob factor, but that, you've seen it. It can change the whole game when those guys are locked in. And we actually even said like part of one of the reasons they were inconsistent last year was that those guys kind of went away from their commitment to defense.
Oh yeah, it was awful at times last year. I thought
they really, really didn't lean into it at all. So yeah.
No, that's been a big turnaround.
Yeah. All right, Jaylen Brown, Rookie of the Year. Get your votes in now. And
that's it.
That's all we got. Sunday, 3:00. Is that right?
Yep.
Taylor Swift at 1, Celtics at 3. Full Sunday.
Taylor Swift at 1.
At Gillette
game.
The show's at 1.
Taylor Swift might be attending the Patriots game. We're not sure.
Oh, yeah, but she's not. You make it sound like she's got like a halftime performance or something.
No. But I mean, she's a draw. She's a bigger draw than anybody the Patriots are putting out there.
Oh, well, yeah. The way the tickets are looking, yeah, I'm sure people are going to.
All right. Remember, guys, NFL action tomorrow. Set your fantasy lineups. Don't fall asleep on it. Jimmy, Bobby and I and Jimmy all in some first-round matchups. Poor Josue. One of us wasn't going to make it, and it was him. It happened.
So damn close.
It was close.
The guy didn't even think he was going to win that game. I know he didn't until that last half.
Now,
that's how it goes.
When Toscano was here, the CLNS round 1 is Amit versus Bobby and me versus Jimmy right now in round 1.
My team isn't that good, but I keep finding wins.
Oh,
so I hope
none
that
of us.
continues.
No, Ahmed's team is good.
Oh,
the rest
man.
of us are. The rest of us are junk right now.
I do have Purdy though. I love that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, solid.
Jimmy.
Anyway,
Jimmy got it. Jimmy stole that last one.
It's a tough one. Tough one. Anyway, thanks guys for hanging out. We appreciate you. We'll see you guys on Sunday with the full crew.
The Stay Ready
doing
crew.
The Garden Report.
The
Yep, Stay Ready crew. Maybe I'll have Nick do the game because I might have to do Pats. He's on the
Nick.
Stay Ready.
Nick,
He's on the Stay Ready crew.
Nick and who else? Who else jumps in from time to time? Guess just Nick. Nick's the Stay Ready crew.
I'll ask anybody in the chat here if you guys have suggestions for who you would like to see sub in on the Garden Report from time to time. Let us know. You know, and we'll think about it if you have any suggestions.
that just means if he doesn't like it, then it's not gonna. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say I'm gonna do
that's
it.
What you mean by think about it? Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Our best 5 hosts are me, John, Josue, and Jimmy. So when those 5 guys are there, Nick's not going to be on. He's just going to stay ready.
No, he's just going to be ready. Well, we're never going to use Nick. Not if we have to.
You know, someone's going to be like, "Oh, get a Jeff Van Gundy or get Sam Cassell or something." We'll see though.
People want Judah. People want live callers.
Oh, we used to do that. Yeah, that was something.
One of these days, we're going to run a contest for the top 5 chatters to do a show. Yes, we are. One of these days, but I don't know what it's going to be.
Sherrod's a good one. There you go.
Oh, we owe a couple of shout outs, Josue. This guy Alex really wanted us to show from Dover, New Hampshire. I think.
Ron Burgundy? Yeah, he did say that. No, Dover, Massachusetts.
I think
Massachusetts. Why did I say that like that?
Hazel said hey at the show at the Garden tonight. So always say hi if you see us out there. And
yeah, he saw us. What was he on the 3rd row? He was pumped, man. He saw me. And he was like, "Where's Bobby?" And I'm like, "Man, that dude was stuck in traffic. This was last game 2 nights ago."
That was crazy. We won't even get into that.
I
had my traffic moment.
Oh, you did? I would have ask. I would have Kess and Dudley for sure.
Man,
that'd be a fun show.
Kess was right about the Brad thing way back when.
Adamantly.
Yo, shout out to Vinny from Boston, who I hopped in the Uber and immediately, as soon as I walked in the Uber, I hop in, he goes, Josue Pavon. And I'm just like, and then it took me about 5 seconds. And I was just like, oh, I go, Celtics fan. He goes, yo, I love it. I love what you guys do. So I appreciate that, man. Vinny, that stuff goes awesome. A long way, man. Thank you.
Like I said, I don't get recognized.
Because you don't go out, John. Actually, you know what? No, you do, but I feel like it's either the demo or it's the location. I don't know. Are you in Boston? I don't know if you're in Boston. Like, I think that's where it is, man. Like, for me, 9 times out of 10, it's in like the city, like Boston, not just like one of those, not Quincy or something. You know,
the Newton Mass over 40 crowd. I don't think knows we exist, so I don't get recognized a ton.
I bet you the kids will recognize you. One of them.
Some of the kids have recognized me before.
Yeah, that's how it usually is.
For sure.
See a teenager or like someone in like their late 20s or something. But yeah.
No, my neighbor's kids, but that's about, it's funny actually. But yeah, no, you guys are stars. You guys are rock stars everywhere you go. You guys are like, you guys are global, every city you go in.
I think it happens. I was just going to say, I think it happens more on the road because like for those guys, they don't have the local stuff. So they come to us right after a game. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that is good. All right, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Like we said, we're back on Sunday. Yep, and it's who do we got Sunday?
Magic.
These guys. I don't know why you took it down. Might as well leave it up. Oh no, they got Bruins tomorrow. That's why.
Yeah, we're heading upstairs, Josue. All right.
Oh yes, you did show up. The BSC now closed, and that's right, you did at the gym. That is correct. I did see that, yeah. Yeah, thanks for pointing out. I need a new gym.
How many questions did you have to say before you were like, wait, what? Where did I know you from? Like, how did that go? How was the exchange?
I need a new gym is all I need. That's what I need. Equinox is too friggin' expensive. My God.
Yeah, it sounds expensive. Rappers talk
like
about
250. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyway, all right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Start thinking about which of you is going to co-host one of these days. It's not going to be Judah. Sorry, buddy. Maybe it is. We'll see. But we'll talk to you guys about that and the game Sunday afternoon. We'll be live at around 5:30.